Okay, we're going to do notes page by page, so hopefully that makes it a little easier when you need to find something. We're going to start with a little bit of a review and talk about what array is. So array is a part of a line with a fixed endpoint. And when we draw that, typically we set our fixed endpoint somewhere, and then we show that it goes on forever in the other direction using that arrow. So when we want to draw an angle, what we're talking about is two rays that have that common endpoint, which we're going to call the vertex. Okay, so we have one side of the ray, one of the rays which is called the initial side, and the other called the terminal side. We'll get a little more into that on this second page. We're going to talk a lot about our angles being in standard position. And that means that we are going to take a look at our terminal side and where it ends. Our initial side is always going to lie on that x-axis, that positive part of the x-axis, and we'll get a little more into that. Okay? So a little more of a review. A 90-degree angle is a right angle, special enough that it gets its own name. A 180-degree angle we call a straight angle. And you guys, that's also just a line, okay? Or it makes a line. An acute angle is smaller than a right angle, so we have a measure between 0 and 90. An obtuse angle, bigger than 90, but still less than a straight angle, so it's got a measure between 90 and 180. And so using interval notation, just like we did in college algebra, the measure of an acute angle is on the interval 0 to 90. Notice that we have parentheses on the ends showing that it cannot be a 0-degree angle. That's not an angle. It cannot be a 90-degree angle. That's a right angle. Measure of an obtuse angle, same thing with the parentheses, 90 to 180. An obtuse angle is going to lie somewhere in between 90 and 180. Okay? Moving on, we typically use Greek letters to represent angles. Theta is the one you're probably going to see most often. Phi shows up every once in a while. We'll use alpha, beta, and gamma a lot when we are talking about individual triangles. Okay? Here is the positioning for our angles. Our initial side is always the positive x-axis. We want that line flat on the positive side. And so then down here to 3, we say our angle is in standard position. If the vertex is at the origin, so we're thinking about orienting this on our XY plane. So just a reminder, our X is our horizontal axis, our Y is our vertical. So we're setting our vertex right at that origin where the X and the Y axis intersect. So an angle theta is said to be in standard position if its vertex is at the origin and the initial side coincides with the positive x-axis. And that's it for terminology on page 1.